Today is August 10th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClavesOnline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey, presented to you by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. Rammer, you know what? Historical day yesterday at the ballpark. You never know what you're going to see when you go to a game. Unfortunately, it was all negative for the Cardinals last night in Denver.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that got away so fast. I was going to say the Rockies were squaring up everything. They weren't for a minute, but they got a couple of breaks. The ball goes under Arenado's glove. A couple of different hinky things kind of happen, but let's face it, they were hammering the crap out of the ball, line drive after line drive, and so yeah, that's what happens. I mentioned I didn't anticipate that kind of an outing from Miles, but I knew you're going to have to score a lot of runs in that ballpark last night and the next two nights. You better get the offense going. And, so there's a lot to unwrap there. But one thing that's been consistent, top two spots in the order haven't been real productive if they're not hitting home runs. On-base percentages are not good there, and they got to figure something out.
Yeah, no lineup yet for the Cardinals right now. Hopefully, by the time we are off the air, there will be one. But I mentioned historic night. Miles Mikolas becomes the second pitcher in Major League history to allow 14 or more hits, 10 earned runs or more, in recording less than 10 or fewer outs in a game. He joins Rammer. I know you remember this guy, Ralph Comstock of Detroit, back on September 12th of 1913.
Yeah, Kami had a rough go that day. We didn't hear much of him after that. That's too bad. Luckily, Miles will survive, and we'll see him in 5 days.
Back in 1913, if a guy has an outing like that, he just goes and he ends up going back to the coal mines and ends up just working his day job and quits baseball. In a case like that, you definitely never hear.
Steel mill, coal mines, brewery, ranch, whatever.
So Miles Mikolas not in the greatest company with his game last night. Another oddity from last night. We talked about it over the weekend when the Yankees were in town, and you saw Matt Carpenter fly out a few times to the warning track, and you look at that, and a lot of people paying attention to, would that have been a home run at Yankee Stadium? How many ballparks would that have been a home run at? Yeah. I don't know if you saw this from last night. Nolan Gorman, his early in the game, his ball that he hit out to left center in the game would have been a home run in all 29 other ballparks. The only ballpark that was not a home run in was Coors Field. How many times can you say that a ball hit in Coors Field, that's the only ballpark it wouldn't have gone out in?
Well, that's the thing that makes it so big is the power alleys. And that's where you don't want to hit it. They felt like they had to expand it there to keep it even. Yeah, like most places, you're better going down the lines. As you can see, if you catch one go down the lines, you can hit it 400 feet. And it's not unusual to have multiple 400-foot home runs in a game at Coors Field. The other thing, it's so big that base hits drop unless your name is Tyler O'Neill, who had 3 rockets all right at people. I really felt bad for him. And, I wonder if he gets another look in the top 2 in the order. I think despite what his batting average is, despite you get the 0 for last night, that I think he's swinging the bat pretty well. It's time to see results.
The Cardinals did make a roster move prior to the game tonight. TJ McFarland designated for assignment. Jake Woodford, he's called back up from Memphis. You hate to see it with TJ McFarland for how good he was last year. It didn't catch on this year.
They come and they go, Hobbs. They come and they go.
Yeah, for as good as he was last year, it just, you know what? It didn't happen again.
No, there's no excuses. There's no defending. It's just what happens. And he may go somewhere next year and be pretty good again. It happens. Go look through history. It happens a lot with guys who are kind of in that mid-tier of relief pitching. Good year, bad year. Good year, bad year. That's the way it goes. You're trying to win, and who's now the worst guy on your staff? I'll have to take a quick look, but that'll be the guy pitching in that situation next. As
Yeah.
long as you're always trying to elevate the level of talent on your staff, that's what you got to try and do.
Yeah, and you look at it, and we've talked about it many times earlier on in the season that the roster on a particular day was not going to be the roster come,
Yeah.
an important game in October, and now the Cardinals in the past week have relieved themselves of Drew Verhagen and now TJ McFarland. So as you look at that and you go, what are they doing? Earlier in the year, things work their way out, and those guys that aren't performing, they at some point they are no longer needed.
Water seeps to its own level.
Yeah,
You end up being who you are.
yeah, and so now we wait and see how else things play out as the team still remains
Right.
healthier. And speaking of getting healthier, Jack Flaherty, he is going to make his first rehab assignment tonight. They are the Memphis Redbirds are in Indianapolis this week, and he'll be expected to throw about 30 to 35 pitches in the game today. Again, I look at it with Jack Flaherty. Anything you get out of him this year is a bonus at this point. There are no expectations for him to come onto the big league roster and do anything after the injuries that we've seen him suffer this year.
Who's Flaherty?
Right. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Exactly. That's
so. So to be more technical, obviously, see how effective he is today. Check his spin rates, compare them to when he was really good to when he was considered an ace. His velocity, compare that. And because it's only 30 pitches, it wouldn't be fair to say, go throw 100 and let's make a direct comparison. That's silly. But you're only going 30, 35 pitches, and also versus goals. What have the Cardinals told him? If the Cardinals said, hey, go out, get loose, find command of your pitches, throw 90%, we don't know what they've told him. But the comparables to me from however many outings he makes are velocity and spin rate. To give you a comparison, is he where he was when he was an ace? The other thing is recovery from an outing. So he pitches 35 pitches tonight. Regardless of the results, how does he feel tomorrow? How does he feel Friday? Does he feel good enough that we say, hey, that's progress. Let's set up the next outing? Those are the things you got to look for. Looking beyond that, in my view, is a waste of everybody's time.
As we await the lineup tonight for the Cardinals to be posted, the Rockies do have theirs. They lead off with Charlie Blackmon. He's in right field. Jose Iglesias is at short. Brendan Rodgers at second. C.J. Cron at first. Randall Grichuk in center. Elias Diaz is behind the plate. Ryan McMahon at third. Hilarious Montero DHing, and Jonathan Daza is in left field. The Cardinals will go with Jose Quintana making his second start as a Redbird against left-hander Kyle Freeland. So we know tonight we will see Yadier Molina, or I should say Albert Pujols in the lineup today. Yadi got the night off last night. Imagine we'll see him in the lineup tonight too. Both players were honored prior to yesterday's game. If you look on Twitter, hashtag Albert Gift Tracker, which Rammer, our friend John Marisek, told me was the stupidest thing I've ever done yesterday when he saw that I was keeping track of all of Albert's gifts this year, which it says a lot.
To be fair to John, he may be on drugs, and so he could be a little extra cranky.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, that's really saying something for all of the things that he's known that I've done over the past 10 years. That's a little extreme. Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, they received the STL sign from the Coors Field out of town scoreboard. And on the back listed some of their career highlights in Denver. They also received a trip to a resort in Colorado Springs, which I imagine is going to be given away as a gift.
They probably going to the Broadmoor. I've only been able to look in the gates. They don't let riffraff like us get on the premises, but it's supposed to be a Shangri-La oasis. They're basically at the base of Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. I have known some people who weren't supposed to tell me about it because my ears shouldn't hear those things, that it's an unbelievable place. The thing is, I guess it's a good gesture. That's the kind of stuff, though, that Pujols and Molina and other millionaires can just do on a whim. But in the STL thing and then stuff on the back, well, how are you going to display that? You can only display one side. Did they just go to Kinko's and draw up that's what it looked like. It looked like they got some poster board, painted it black, put STL on there, and it looked like it came from Kinko's.
It's to me on this and keeping track of this, it's more the gesture. It's the gesture that I like.
I got a gesture for the Rockies.
Hey, you know what? It's better than some teams have given. So the Blue Jays didn't do shit. I'll take what the Rockies gave. It's not, you know what? You give it to a clubhouse. You give that gift to a clubhouse attendant. You give it away as a gift to somebody. Yeah. So
do it at a charity auction.
Right. You say, you know what? Hey, go take the family out of town. Go to Colorado Springs for the weekend, and you do that. That's what it is.
It'd be tremendous to award it to the most honest Cardinals baseball podcast out there in the universe, and that, of course, is not us. No, Daily Cards Live on Claibs Online. We would accept gleefully.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened. Yachty gives it to Claibs, and Claibs ends up passing it along to us. That's what needs to happen with that.
By the way, a note from last night. You may not have been. It's one of those things, you just randomly catch. Edman turning that double play late, trying to, and short-armed it. And I think I've noticed him do that a couple of times recently. A, have you? And B, if you have, do we automatically start thinking about Chuck Knobloch and Rick Ankiel?
No,
keep an eye on that for me.
Yeah.
Because that was not good.
Something to keep an eye on tonight as the Cardinals and Rockies play game 2 of their 3-game series. Tomorrow is an afternoon game for the, I believe a 2:10 start time for tomorrow in Denver. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live right here on Claibs Online, brought to you by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri, and of course, they've leaked over into onto the Illinois side in Granite City and Jerseyville and up in Northeast Missouri in 3 locations there. What's important about Royal Banks is the service they provide you to help you reach your financial goals each and every day. It gets tougher. Go with people who know the business and have been doing it in your community for over 50 years. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will be back with you tomorrow for more Daily Cards Live right here, ClaibsOnline.com.
Shooter from the belt to the plate. A swing and a miss, and that's a winner. That's a winner. A World Series winner for the Cardinals.
Relive the final strikeout pitch from Bruce Sutter to Darryl Porter in Game 7 of the 1982 World Championship with a one-of-a-kind bobblehead. This bobblehead will be one that collectors don't want to miss. Find out more at Cardinals.com/promotions.
St. Louis Acura has almost 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock with inventory arriving daily and can offer the best trade-in value. While others raise their prices and fees, we choose to earn your repeat and referral business by not taking advantage of the current market situation. We invest in our team, becoming one of St. Louis's top places to work and fastest growing companies. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. Located at Manchester and Mason Roads.